All right, so welcome back. You're tuned in to Radio Karma. Join the caravan. It's about 6:05 here in the studio clock. And without wasting any time right now, we are with our handy-dandy sports analyst Sushil in the house, talking all things sports. So firstly, welcome to the studio and welcome. Very good evening to you, Sushil.
Good evening, Vaibhav. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you as well. It has been a very, very rough week otherwise. But let's, some nice sporting events happening. Of course, our test match. Let's begin with cricket, actually. So, India-Australia, third test match. I think this is what, the third day?
Third day.
Third day.
Right. That's right. Yeah, incredible.
Let's talk about how that match has gone by so far. I feel our the first day was kind of a disappointment when you're an Indian cricket fan. But the second day was really, really awesome as far as like bowling and I think we got Australia out for about 118, 119 odd runs. We took about 7-8 wickets. So that was great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the first day was you saw Steve Smith, who we just talked during the break, right? He was due for a big one, and you can't keep a great player quiet for too long. And he showed his class. And him and Manas Labuschagne, it's like the disciple and the guru playing at the same time. I thought that, but you're right. I think the second day India came. I mean, they were like 200 for 2, and to come back and dismiss them for 130 odd runs and take 8 wickets, I thought India bowled exceptionally well. Ravindra Jadeja was exceptional. Overall, like 4 wickets, and that run out was excellent. And then it was interesting how Steve Smith, you absolutely have to admire what a class, what an innings that he played, and just to be down and 4 innings of total 20 runs or 15 runs in 4 innings, and to come out and the way he attacked Ashwin, Vaibhav, was his nemesis, right? He came out, credit to him, he came out in the media and said, hey, Ashwin has got my number. But the way he played him and the way he played everybody in India was exceptional. I thought it was a fabulous, fabulous test innings.
Absolutely. And two players that really, and I think you already mentioned both those players, and that was, of course, Ravindra Jadeja from India and Steve Smith from Australia. Yeah. I think if it wasn't for these two players, the scenario would have been very, very different, both for India and for Australia. So if Steve Smith did not score his century, I think they would have been all out by under 250 or odd runs. And then Ravindra Jadeja, of course, did what he did with the ball, and of course his fielding
was exceptional. Yeah, and I think Bumrah, you cannot forget the exceptional bowling, and when he came back and how he gets his wickets with the new ball and old ball. I mean, he is, in my opinion, by far. I mean, you can make a case for Pat Cummins. Pat Cummins is exceptional, but by far, in my opinion, the best bowler today across the 3 formats. Bumrah was exceptional, but yeah, I think really, to me, if I look at who knows, maybe the 330 would be enough for India, but I think when they were 200 for 2, I thought they were about 100 runs short. I was thinking this is a 400, 450 type score. So kudos to India to keep them at 338.
Right.
It's going to be an intriguing test match. I thought after that, what Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma did was fabulous.
Absolutely. And let's talk about the first innings, batting wise. I think it was Rohit Sharma's first one back after his quarantine and all that had gone by after the IPL. He scored about 26 runs, faced about 77 balls with a strike rate of 33. Not bad for his first outing. At least he was not out on a duck like David Warner.
Yeah. He looked good. I thought Rohit Sharma looked good coming back. I mean, you have to understand 14 days of self-quarantine in a hotel room and then 3-4 days of practice. I thought it was interesting. They were showing the stats. India's highest opening partnership this test series has been 16.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought both of them did a really great job in negotiating that. And it's disappointing because I think they did all the hard work, and I'm not being critical, but I think the dismissal for Rohit Sharma also was a loss of concentration. I think he did all the hard work, but to give that catch back to the bowler, and I think that the reason what I saw Weber was he just got stuck in when Nathan Lyon was bowling to him. There were 4 overs that he just played 4 or 5 overs without scoring a run and rotating the strike. I think that got to him eventually, but overall, I think not being critical. I think Shubman Gill, man, I think this guy is probably one of the best looking players I've seen in a long time in terms of technique, in terms
Yeah.
of temperament. He was exceptional.
You know what? I will say this on record, and that is that once Virat reaches that Dhoni kind of age,
Yeah.
I think the next player that we are going to kind of look for, to take the mantle ahead, I do see that spark in Shubman Gill.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the temperament, the technique, I mean, you saw that the Australians were sledging him left, right, and center, and the way he played, and everything was assured. I think there was just one miss, one bad shot, which is what resulted in his wicket after 50. But I thought, what a fabulous... I know this was not his debut, second test match. Will Pokorski as well, the Australian opener, was fabulous. It's just amazing to see these 22, 23-year-old kids playing exceptional cricket. But India, I was just looking at the score we were talking, they're 122 for 3.
Right
We
now,
just
they're 125 for 3, and
just lost Rahane,
Yeah.
which is a big blow. But so I think this is going to be a tough one, because when I looked at the score of 338, India is going to bat here 4th in this test match, and the wicket is getting slower, will get more bounce. India needs to go in with at least about 50 odd runs of lead, which seems like a long way away right now. We are still about 200 runs behind.
And Cheteshwar is doing what he does best, which is basically face
Occupy,
a lot of,
yeah.
occupy the crease, and that's a page that the likes of Rohit Sharma needs to take from Cheteshwar Pujara. Given the fact that Cheteshwar is not one of the most aggressive players, he's not aggressive at all. In
At
fact.
all, yeah.
But at least that he has that test match mentality.
He absolutely does, and you're right. You need to block and end, but I think he needs to get a little better. And it's hard to be critical against somebody who's that good, but he needs to score.
Well, he just hit back-to-back boundaries, as we say that.
Which is very unique of of him. But he just doesn't do that. Usually, I think he needs to, and I think he's starting to do that now. But because you need to, I mean, that's one thing that Steve Smith and I think Australia did really well. This test match was scored at about 3.5 and over, and Steve Smith and Labuschagne and Matthew Wade, everybody was positive. So I think right now the fear that I have with both Pujara and Vihari is both of them can get stuck in the wicket. So hopefully they can rotate the strike. It's going to be an intriguing day of cricket. If India bat all day today, which will be an achievement now that they are down 3, I think we'll end up with about 30, 40 odd run lead, which will be amazing.
I would even take a draw. Honestly, if they can just like sustain and just be on the pitch,
Yeah.
and not even if they go defensive after a point of time when you realize that this is not going
Yeah.
anywhere, I think that would be the second option.
Yeah, but the fact that you're in third day, Vaibhav, chances are, you're right, it's a batting wicket. Chances are if you take about a 40, 50 run lead and Australia comes back, they won't feel comfortable. If they bat all day, fourth day, India will still get a chance to chase about 200 odd runs, 250 odd runs in fifth
Right.
day. So I think there's a result coming. I just think unless you see a daddy 100 by Pujara, if Pujara makes 100, you know that he's batting for 2 days. So
Oh, absolutely. He's faced about 104 balls. He scored 2 boundaries, which just happened, and he scored about 27 runs.
27 runs. Yeah, about 20 odd strike. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's there. So, right now you cannot afford to lose another wicket. So we need to make sure this partnership takes us to at least about 200 or so. Then you have Rishabh Pant, you have Jadeja coming behind, which is, and they can score fast.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Now, coming back to some football here, as we go along, let's talk
Big
about
weekend.
Big weekend,
Big
and
weekend.
of course we had kind of called this where the Dallas Cowboys, I had at least said that they are going to lose the game.
Yeah,
And,
you did.
and then they did, and of course, they played to their level. And speaking of the Cowboys, they have fired their defensive coordinator now,
Yeah.
Mike Nolan, and those are the things that
Those
happen.
are just casual. You need a scapegoat. Somebody had to go. You can't fire the coach. You just gave him a lot of money, and he was like the next best thing
Right.
since sliced bread. So you can't fire the coach. Even though I think this has been such a bad coaching job.
Absolutely.
Such a bad
Absolutely.
coaching job.
The defense was definitely a big
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
I will not take that away. But overall, the whole team, I think, it's just badly coached and badly executed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, the fact that they were there in the last game as a chance to win the division was also, I didn't expect them to win 3 games in a row, which they did. So, but I think the more, and it's hard to say when you have a 7-9 team win a division, but I think the more deserved team actually won the division because Washington football team was was the better team in that division. And if it was not for Alex Smith and Antonio Gibson being injured, they probably would have ended up at a 500 record. So I think they deserve to win the division. Now they go up against the Bucks, so I don't envy them. It's going to be, it probably will be an end of the road for Washington. But they have a really good defense, so it could be an interesting game.
All right, so we have just a few minutes left, and I know you have to kind of we'll wrap up the show a little bit early today, but let's talk about the future here. Do you still stand by your picks that you had picked for the Super Bowl?
I do. I don't see a reason to change it now, even though I would say if I look at these division matchups today, for this week, I think Bills are looking really good right now. And again, I know that this is playoff start, things change, but Kansas City, I still stand by. I think they are the best team. They may not look right now that way, but when they get into the playoffs, they get a bye. With the change in rules for this year, only one team gets a bye, so Kansas City and Green Bay. So AFC, I'm sticking by my prediction. NFC, right now, this may be music to your ears. Right now, Green Bay look like the best team.
They do.
In NFC. I don't think Seattle is looking that good. They just haven't been able to score. Rams look shaky. So, Bucks could be interesting. Bucks can make a run. But at this point, if the Bucks win against Washington, they end up playing your Green Bay Packers next, which would be such a fabulous game to watch. I think it might be Packers and Chiefs right now. But, Bills are doing... Right now, if I have to pick the best team today in NFL, based on so far, I would say Bills are probably playing the best football right now.
All right. So we'll have to keep our eyes open for what happens next. We have about 3 minutes, so let's also discuss a little bit of NBA as we go along. And before I do that, if you have anything to add for NFL.
NFL, I was just looking at the games. I was curious, Vaibhav, which one are you? So there's Rams and Seahawks. There's Colts and Bills. Bucks and Washington, all 3 games tomorrow. Sunday, Ravens and Titans, Bears and Saints, and Browns and Steelers. So just some intriguing matchups.
Right. And you know what? It would have been... This weekend is all about upsets.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for upsets this weekend.
Which is your upset pick in these 6 games?
Maybe Washington.
Washington?
Maybe Washington. You never know. You just never know with the NFC East. You don't know.
You just don't know.
With any NFC East team, you really don't know which one shows up that day.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Washington, that's actually a really good upset pick. I honestly don't see the Bears beating the Saints. Browns and Steelers, I don't know. I don't think so, but you're right. I think the Colts and Bills, even though I just talked the Bills up so much, but that could be an interesting game. The Colts have a really good defense, but Washington Bucks, I mean, let's not sleep on them. I don't think any team that will wrap with this on football, any team that can rush with front 4 can trouble the best quarterback in any quarterback, and Brady is no different. You look at all the losses for Brady. It's always been teams that can run with 4, and these guys can.
All right, we're going to take a short commercial break. We'll come back for 5 more minutes, discuss a little bit of NBA, and then we'll wrap it up here. And thank you once again, Sushil, for joining us this evening for our Sports Roundup. Let's go ahead and play one more song here. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. You're tuned into Radio Karma. Join the caravan, and last 5 minutes of our Sports Roundup here, and we'll wrap it up, of course. Let's go ahead and get back to cricket. I think New Zealand, like you were mentioning, Sushil, played really, really great against Pakistan.
Exceptional. I mean, 2-0, the test win. I mean, it's incredible. 650 runs in that test match. You have to give it to New Zealand. Just the batting display. Williamson is just exceptional. I mean, the guy is pure class, the way he goes about his business. Three straight centuries. I mean, everybody, I think 3 players scored centuries in that game. And it's unfortunate, but Pakistan is in a rebuilding phase right now. So very unfortunate, but incredible win by New Zealand.
Absolutely. And going back to India, Australia, Cheteshwar Pujara just hit a 3rd boundary. So he's hit 3 boundaries in the last 10 minutes.
He's on a roll.
Right. And that sometimes is not even the case in his full innings.
I know. I know. Him and boundaries don't really. So no, that's good. That's good. Maybe he heard us. He's staying positive. Let's see.
Well, I think the intent is to go a little aggressive from what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, and this wicket is a good wicket. There's no demons in the wicket. You saw how even Rohit and Shubman Gill were playing. So even Rahane. I mean, I watched a little bit of start of the innings, and Rahane was playing really well. He just got. I mean, Pat Cummins is a class bowler. So this Australian bowling attack, Vaibhav, is the best in the world by far. So,
absolutely. I think there's just a well-rounded team.
Absolutely.
And we were just discussing this when you see even Australian tailenders bat.
Yeah.
They have some they're above average.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think they're tailenders. They're actually pretty decent bats. Stark can bat really well. Nathan Lyon can bat. Hazelwood, number 11. Hazelwood looked good.
Yeah, exactly.
They look compact, and unfortunately, our tailenders are.
You can just tell by the stance that our tailenders take that.
They're walking wickets.
Yeah,
well, if our top order at times is a walking wicket, well, you can't blame the tailenders. So.
Right. Well, you know what? It's a nice, interesting game which is going on right now. 138 for 3, and
two best sides in the world. I know New Zealand may have something to say about that because they are the number one Test team right now, at least for the next few days till one of these. Whoever wins this series will be their number one team, but clearly the two best. You can see by the quality of cricket that's happening. Mm-hmm. We were just talking during the break. Test match. I don't remember actually watching a Test match. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying when somebody scores 20 in 80 balls, but just the quality of bowling and quality of play is high class, is absolute high class from both teams.
Yeah.
So it's just exceptional Test. I never thought I would enjoy Test cricket as much as I'm enjoying watching India and Australia play.
It also has to do with something with T20 cricket. I think there's been an overdose of T20 cricket.
Yeah.
And this is a welcome change. This is very refreshing.
Yeah. You could see Rohit Sharma is the best white ball player in the world. And you could see yesterday, there's something about 4 slips and a gully and with that kind of quality attack. I mean, it just it's a true test of character, patience, and skill. That's why I thought Shubman Gill, Will Pokorski, Steve Smith. I mean, this is just high quality cricket.
Absolutely, and I know you have to leave, and I'll let you go right now. But thank you so much for stopping by and talking a little bit of sports with us.
Always a pleasure. Have a great weekend, Vaibhav.
You too, and I'll catch you next Friday. And hopefully, by then, India has secured a win in the third.
We'll
test
be leading
match.
2-1.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.